Today we take another look at some Irish mythology, and a figure that we have mentioned in a previous video, perhaps the most recognisable and iconic Fomorian warchief to ever take the throne, Balor. Throughout Irish mythology, Balor was extremely feared, and he went by several names, including Balor the Smiter, Balor of the Evil Eye, and Balor of the Piercing Eye. The Celtic origin of his name was thought to be Balaros, which meant the Deadly One, the Old Irish at Bull, meaning to die, and Bal in Welsh, meaning either death or plague. As we can see by all of these names, regardless of the language or culture, Balor is described as not a particularly pleasant individual to be around. The most striking part of Balor's appearance was the eye located in the middle of his forehead. In some occasions he was shown to have 3 eyes, and others he appeared more like a cyclops with 1 large eye. There are several stories that attempt to explain how Balor's eye came to be. When Balor was a boy, he looked into a potion bottle that was being brewed by the druids who served his father. The potion was so toxic that the fumes caused the boy to grow a huge poisonous eye. Another variation of this story states that the fumes only entered one of Balor's eyes, and it's this eye that would be known as the Evil Eye. When he was amongst his own people, Balor would keep his eye closed, which is why you may come across some depictions of him covering an eye. But in battle, Balor would unleash the power of his eye upon anyone who stood against him. Because of the properties of Balor's eye and his own destructive nature, he was often seen as a deity associated with death and blight. The eye of Balor was said to cause destruction upon anything that crossed its gaze. How exactly the eye killed those who saw it isn't really explained in detail, but the eye is quite often described as being extremely poisonous. With Balor's eye being closed amongst his fellow Fomorians, it's said that it would take 4 men just to pry the eye open. A large portion of the success that the Fomorians achieved is due to Balor's eye, and because of this he would rise quickly in the ranks and become an extremely feared warchief, and eventually king. He would only have 1 child, a daughter named Aleen, and when the druids prophesied that he would eventually die at the hand of his grandson, he locked his daughter away in a tower. But ironically he would be partly responsible for his daughter meeting the man of her dreams and having a child. Balor possessed a large amount of cattle, but when he came across the marvellous cow of Cian of the Tuatha De Danann, he decided that he would steal this cow. It was when Cian came looking for his cow that he came across Aleen and fell instantly in love, and the two would have a child named Lugh. Upon hearing of the child's birth, Balor ordered the child to be killed, but Lugh was no ordinary child and managed to survive, growing up to become one of the fiercest warriors of the Tuatha De Danann. It was during the Second Battle of Moytura that Lugh would encounter his grandfather and attempt to fulfill his prophecy. When Balor eventually unleashed his eye, he began to wreak havoc amongst the Tuatha De Danann, even killing their king Nuada in the process. When Lugh finally came across his grandfather, it said that he fired a spear or a sling through his eye, knocking Balor's eye through the back of his head and destroying the Fomorian army behind them. Balor would then be beheaded, as Lugh and the Tuatha De Danann celebrated their victory over the Fomorian army. Balor is a fairly important figure in Irish mythology. He was the most feared of all the Fomorian leaders, and he gives us somewhat of a mythical tyrant. Although it was never his intention, it's through Balor's bloodline that we're given some of the greatest heroes to feature in Irish mythology. If you enjoyed this video and you have any stories or thoughts about Balor, then feel free to share them with me in the comments below. But as always, I've been your host, Mythology and Fiction Explained.